Hey everyone, ready to jump into the world of virtual assistants? We've got a whole bunch of resources here, and they're practically bursting with advice for launching a killer VA career.
Totally. We're about to dig into flexibility, freedom, building a business you're actually passionate about, all that good stuff. But before we get ahead of ourselves,
Right, we need a plan.
exactly. One of our sources put it perfectly. It's like hitting the gas on a road trip without even picking a destination. You might end up somewhere interesting
But
or
you could be stuck in the middle of nowhere. Hard pass.
so how do we make sure we end up at like the ultimate VA vacation spot?
First things first, you got to figure out your why. What's driving you?
Yeah, what's the big picture here? Is it about finally getting that work-life balance, being your own boss, or is there something else that lights your fire?
Totally. Maybe you're passionate about using your skills to help businesses grow, or you thrive in a fast-paced environment. This is where you got to get real about what makes you tick. It's about building a work life that doesn't just look good on paper, but actually gets you fired up in the morning. And speaking of getting fired up, our sources all agree once you've got that why locked in, it's time to get serious about your goals.
Absolutely. This is where things can't be vague. We're talking SMART goals, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound.
It's like, yeah, wanting to write a book sounds amazing, but actually setting a daily word count? Now we're talking. That's how dreams become reality.
100%. So let's say your big dream is ditching that 9 to 5 and going full-time VA. How much do you actually need to earn each month to make that happen? How many clients does that translate to? Writing it down, making those numbers real. That's how someday turns into this year.
Oh, love it. So we've got our why, we've got our goals. What's next?
Now for the really exciting part, it's time to figure out your VA superpower.
Ooh, I like where this is going.
This is where you take everything you're naturally gifted at and combine it with what businesses are desperate for. It's all about finding that sweet spot where your passions and what the market actually needs collide.
Kind of like I could spend all day baking award-winning cakes.
Mhm.
But if everyone in town is obsessed with gluten-free vegan donuts,
Right. Might be time to switch up the recipe, and that's why figuring out your niche is so crucial.
okay, I'm in. So how do we go about finding this perfect niche? Where do we even start?
Well, one of the sources breaks it down into a few key areas. First up, the backbone of so many businesses, administrative tasks. If you thrive on organization, if you can conquer an overflowing inbox without breaking a sweat, this just might be your zone of genius.
It's like being the maestro of efficiency, making sure all the moving parts of a business are running like a perfectly tuned orchestra. I'm picturing color-coded spreadsheets, calendar invites that would make a productivity guru cry tears of joy.
And the beauty of this niche is that it's needed in every industry. Every business, from solopreneurs to big companies, needs someone to handle those essential tasks. Scheduling, emails, organizing files. It's the behind-the-scenes magic that keeps everything running smoothly.
It's like being the secret weapon that allows business owners to focus on their big picture vision. They know all the details are taken care of so they can stress less. But what if spreadsheets and emails aren't exactly your cup of tea?
No problem. There are tons of other options out there. Maybe you'd rather spend your days dreaming up witty tweets and building online communities.
Ah, now you're speaking my language. So we're talking about social media management.
Exactly. This niche is all about understanding the ins and outs of the social media world, creating killer content, strategically scheduling those posts, and even navigating the ever-changing landscape of algorithms.
It's like being a digital storyteller, using platforms like Instagram, Facebook, even LinkedIn to build a brand story and connect with their audience in a meaningful way.
Absolutely, and our sources all agree. Having an eye for design is a huge plus here. We're talking eye-catching graphics, videos that pop, that kind of thing.
Right, because who doesn't love a good scroll-stopping visual? Okay, so we've got organization gurus covered, we've got social media mavens, but what about the people who live for human connection? The ones who can turn a frustrated customer into a raving fan.
Ah, you're talking about the customer service superheroes.
Yeah.
This niche is all about empathy, problem solving, and building those all-important relationships with clients.
It's like being a customer whisperer,
Hmm.
understanding their needs, anticipating their questions, maybe even offering up a virtual hug in the form of a well-crafted email.
Exactly. It goes way beyond just answering emails or managing support tickets, though. Our sources really emphasize being proactive, going above and beyond to create a really smooth customer experience.
I love that. So we're talking personalized follow-ups anticipating potential problems before they even happen.
Right, even throwing in a little something extra to surprise and delight.
It's like anyone can put out a fire, but the true rock stars, they're preventing a fire in the first place. And these days, when a single bad review can make or break a business, that kind of dedication is invaluable.
Totally agree. So we've covered some amazing niches so far, from the organizational wizards to the social media gurus and the customer service champions.
Mm-hmm.
But here's where things get strategic.
Ooh, I like the sound of that.
Because it's one thing to be amazing at something, but it's a whole other ballgame knowing there's an actual demand for your skills.
Right, you don't open a sushi restaurant in a town full of die-hard pizza lovers.
Exactly. Which is why doing your market research is key.
You read my mind. Thankfully, our sources are bursting with clever tactics for finding those golden opportunities. It's like having a VA treasure map.
It really is. So first on our list of detective work essentials, job boards, and freelance platforms. These are like giant neon signs flashing exactly what businesses are looking for right now.
Love it. It's like getting the sneak peek behind the curtain.
Exactly. What services keep popping up in job descriptions? What are the key words that keep coming up over and over again?
It's like having a direct line to the businesses themselves, hearing straight from the source what's keeping them up at night, and figuring out how a savvy VA like you can come in and save the day.
I love that. And speaking of tapping into insider knowledge, our sources are also big fans of networking.
Yes, networking is so crucial. It's like building your own league of extraordinary VAs. A support system where you can swap tips, learn from each other's wins, and, let's be honest, the occasional mishaps too.
Exactly, because even superheroes need a team. This could be anything from joining online groups, virtual conferences, to connecting with other VAs in your area.
It's about surrounding yourself with people who get it, who are just as passionate about this work as you are. You can share resources, learn from the best in the business, maybe even find some amazing collaborators along the way.
Absolutely. And last but not least, our sources encourage us to tap into our inner Sherlock Holmes and analyze the competition.
Ooh, I always loved a good mystery.
This is all about really understanding what's working in your chosen niche.
So checking out what other successful VAs are doing, right?
Oh,
What
right.
services are they offering? What are their prices like? How are they marketing themselves?
Exactly. And to be clear, this isn't about copying anyone. It's about identifying those gaps in the market and figuring out how you can stand out from the crowd.
I love that. It's
Well-
like instead of just opening another pizza place in a town where there are already a million pizza places,
Yeah.
you're getting creative. Maybe you're opening a gourmet wood-fired pizza place, but you also have gluten-free and vegan options. You're giving people what they want while also creating your own unique space in the market. So we've talked about market research, about niche selection. Where does that leave us in the grand scheme of our VA journey? It leaves us ready to build an amazing VA business, right?
You got it. We're talking about finding that sweet spot, that perfect blend of what you're passionate about and what the market is actually craving.
It's about more than just picking a job title, isn't it? It's about designing a career, a whole work life that really lights you up.
100%. Think of it like building a house. You've got your foundation, that's your why, and you've got your blueprint, those awesome SMART goals we talked about, and now?
We're picking out the perfect furniture to really make it feel like home.
Exactly. We're finding that niche that fits your unique skills and your vision for success.
And just like decorating a house, you might change your mind along the way.
Totally. You might realize you need something a little different, a little more you, but having a clear starting point, understanding your motivations, knowing what the market wants, that's what sets you up for success.
And maybe a little bit of serendipity sprinkled in.
Oh, absolutely. That's part of the excitement. The VA world is always changing, so being open to new opportunities, being willing to adapt, maybe even discovering a passion you never knew you had. That's how you thrive.
Okay, so as we get ready to wrap up our deep dive into all things VA, I want everyone listening to remember this. It's about taking control. You get to design a career that gives you the freedom, the flexibility, and the impact you're looking for.
And if you're feeling a little overwhelmed right now, just take a deep breath. Remember your why. Keep exploring those possibilities because the world of virtual assistants is vast.
It really is. Speaking of exploring, one of our sources posed this really interesting question, and I want to throw it out to you all listening. If your VA journey was a business, what would your mission statement be? What impact do you want to make on the world through your work?
Such a great question because at the end of the day, being a successful VA isn't just about building a business, it's about building a life. a life that aligns with your passions, your values, your vision for the future.
So get out there, explore those niches, and unleash your VA superpower on the world. It really does feel like we're setting out on this adventure together.
Totally. And just like any good adventure, it's about more than just the destination. It's about enjoying the journey.
100%.
Yeah.
And embracing those unexpected detours that pop up along the way.
Those detours often lead to the best discoveries. But remembering your why, keeping those goals in mind, that's your compass, right? It keeps you moving in the right direction, even when things get a little bumpy.
So good. So as we wrap things up here, I just want to say I'm seriously inspired by this whole conversation.
Ah.
Are you feeling inspired?
Totally. I think the biggest takeaway for me is that becoming a VA is about so much more than just finding work. It's about creating a work life that truly lights you up, that lets you use your unique talents to make a real impact.
It's about freedom, flexibility, and finding a career path that fits into your life, not the other way around.
Absolutely. And to everyone listening out there, you've got this. Take that leap, explore those possibilities. The world of virtual assistants is waiting for you.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Mhm.
That's it for this deep dive into the incredible world of virtual assistants. Huge thanks to our amazing expert for sharing their wisdom with us today.
The pleasure was all mine.
And to all of you tuning in, thank you for joining us on this journey. We'll see you next time for another deep dive.